Happy New Year, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of TG Talk. My name is Cody Delmindo, and I am the coordinator of communications for SAE. The SAE Foundation is back with another great interview to kick off season 2. As an organization, we are lucky to have many notable alumni to draw wisdom from and share stories from across the realm on this platform. So I am excited, thrilled, ecstatic, all the big words to introduce today's guest. He is brother Stephen Simon from Indiana University. So Foundation CEO Steve Mitchell, also an alumnus of the Indiana Gamma chapter. He interviewed Stephen over Zoom recently, and the two of them relived some fond memories of their time at Indiana University. And this episode, it's jam-packed with advice, wisdom, and of course, a lot of great stories. And I mean, that's why you're here, the great stories. Stephen is the son of Herbert Simon, founder of Simon Property Group, and the owner of the Indiana Pacers. I botched that up. The Indiana Pacers. Ever been to a mall, guys? I'm assuming you've all been to a mall. As one of the largest mall owners in the U.S., it's likely owned by Simon Property Group. The more you know. Although he admits he didn't have much direction as a young adult, Stephen is successful in his own right as a founder and managing partner of Simon Equity Partners, a private equity firm in California. In addition to SEP, Stephen is director of the Herbert Simon Family Foundation and is on the board of directors for the Pacers Basketball Corporation, a team he will eventually inherit from his father. So Stephen, he also serves as on the boards of Central Indiana Land Trust, Conscious Alliance, and HeadCount. Stephen speaks to some of the common themes that we've seen throughout the foundation episodes, such as being curious, never stop learning, and doing what you love. So he also discusses what he attributes his success to, owning and learning from mistakes and things he would change if he could go back in time. And we just couldn't let him go without talking to us about Pacers basketball. So in his own words, this episode is like honest transparency. I love to hear that. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Here's Stephen Simon.
Come sing to Sigma Alpha Epsilon, Epsilon, Sigma Alpha Epsilon, Sigma Alpha, Alpha, Sigma Alpha Epsilon, Sigma Alpha, Sigma
All right. Well, Steve, I want to thank you for agreeing to spend time and share your thoughts with us today. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to draw insights from your experiences. And as we were developing this initiative, our goal was to highlight SAEs that we could all be proud of. And in preparation for our discussion, I did a little research with our fraternity brothers, and they all said the exact same thing. Couldn't find a nicer guy. He's a great brother. He's humble. He's genuine. And they all said the same thing. You're a true gentleman. And on top of that, Steve, you've been extremely successful. So having said all that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm an Indianapolis kid, even though I spent a lot of time in Northern California, back and forth to my beloved Indianapolis. But, grew up there in the 70s, went to Greenbrier and then, ultimately North Central, and played a lot of soccer, was a skateboarder, and I got turned on to skiing early. So, we used to play in the woods out there. It was a much simpler time, and didn't really have a plan. Like, had no plan of what I wanted to do. I've been pretty fortunate, and went to IU because I looked up to a number of older SAEs. But my hero at the time, I'm going to give him a shout out, was Mike Moore, Man. I thought Man was so cool. That man, wherever he's spending time, because I looked up to him so much. I better go to that fraternity. But I went to IU, moved right into the beloved old SAE house, and building that community and having that experience was a seminal experience, certainly in college. I did not apply myself, so I'm going to be, don't correct me, Steve, but I'm going to be as honest as I can get. I didn't apply myself. And in fact, one of the great experiences I had in my academic career was going away on a semester at sea program, which I did when I was a senior, and it's through the University of Pittsburgh, so I can't shout out IU, but I had to come back another semester, and then I was a public environmental affairs major, and I actually had to get another 3 or 6 hours, and I'm like, I just couldn't think about another semester. That's how well I did. So I literally slunk away from IU and ended up getting a degree in general studies, which this is like honest transparency. That's my degree. So, there you go. But IU was great. A lot of, deep relationships. I was always a curious kid, man, read a ton. And I would tell anyone out there, learn everything you can, be super, super curious. At any age, I think I'm learning more in my, I'll out myself, right? Where I'll be 55 in November, which is November. This month, November 23rd, 55, which is,
holy cow, that's
which
awesome.
is pretty wild. But I'm learning more now than ever, which is be really curious, learn as much as you can from anyone. Be good to your word, be decent, always get smarter people around you. That's been my, I'm a proud generalist, general studies degree. Like that's, I obviously I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of things, been very lucky, but I always want the smartest, best, most trustworthy people around me. And just keep thinking, how do I surround myself with the kind of people that represent me, represent the way I want to do business, will fight in great times and will be the best partner in bad times. So it's really, it's really people and relationships, and that's been key to my success. And I've had a lot of opportunities, and a platform to work from, but curious, treat people well. And in hindsight, I think was one of your questions. I know you rattled them off. Like the hindsight of now at my age, if I could go back to IU, I would be studying everything. I would be sucking up all that knowledge and all that great content available. And at the time, I was into girls and having fun. And, like my brother and Scott Dorsey, who applied himself very well, who I love and get to spend time with and invest with, like, if you have to do it over, or if you're there at school, man, get everything you can out of it. It's such a great opportunity and a respite, because the rest of your life, man, you're going to be going and moving, and it's one of the great times to learn about yourself, learn about other people, how people behave, and learn anything that interests you, any subject. Sure.
Got it. So what was one of your favorite memories of being an SE, either as an alumni or as an undergrad?
Well, our claim to fame, at least one of our, we were on probation a lot at Old Gamma, but, a great memory is, of course, when Keith Smart in '87 hit that incredible shot for the last, God willing, not the last, but until this point, the last IU college basketball championship. We were all in the great room of, the old great room at SAE, at the SAE house.
Did it still have that nasty blue carpet in there?
My memory's so poor, like I can't tell you. I have to reference another brother, but and we were leaning over, and one of the couches was like, and I was with my girlfriend at the time, Teresa Hagerty, who I still keep in touch with. But anyway, the couch was turned around, and everybody was leaning over. And when Keith Smart, I'm sure Paulson or somebody remembers this, when Keith Smart hit that shot, everyone leaned over. The couch broke, and we collapsed to the floor. And I was actually worried about Teresa getting like hurt in the collapse of people, but that was, you know, and I lived and breathed IU basketball at the time, and that was pretty cool.
I have a similar memory in 1981, and we were all piled into the Great Hall, and exact same, just bedlam. And then I don't know if Scott Langdon, I don't know if you remember Scott.
Of course, I know Scott Langdon. Yeah, of course.
And then afterward, and with Moorman, they all went down to the fountain afterwards, and we were lucky to
You
lucky
guys,
to survive.
you did. You know, they spanned a lot of those were the you know, those were the
glory days.
Those were the good years. And you know,
Oh,
I was there when Knight threw the chair. You know, I was there at a lot of interesting games, and but you know, just great relationships. I lost my cousin recently, Sherry Simon, who was a seminal figure in my life. And, you know, I got to eulogize her back at the funeral a month or so ago. And I talked about how amazing that year. She must have been a senior when I was she would have been a junior. And I was a freshman. Building that relationship that one year with my cousin in the context of meeting a lot of great guys at Gamma, and, you know, and expanding my horizon, and, you know, looking back, like a lot of different relationships, people with different points of view from different, you know, with different perspectives, which I really crave and love, which is important to me in business, like really getting a lot of different perspectives and counsel, even if you're the boss or decision maker. That is really, and another thing, if you want advice for Gamma Brothers or whoever, I think one of the great things is really just getting super honest, like even as in a leadership role, like raise your hand. I don't know. I have no freaking idea. Or, you know what? I'm having anxiety, or I'm, you know, worried about making this decision. Like finding your own vulnerability in the right situation. Now, if you're having a job interview, you want to, you know, project, but like getting in a situation, I think the most meaningful way to really to prosper is to really get in touch with yourself and your vulnerability. And as you develop your career, and I've found helping other people, entrepreneurs or CEOs or management teams I get to work with, finding their vulnerability by conveying mine has been really effective for me, both as a caring, empathetic human being, and also, you know, has really helped me, you know, develop into a leader, which was always sort of a reluctant role. So anyway, if you want advice, it's get in touch with your, you know, the frail human condition, and when we talk about this at Pace Sports Entertainment, like a lot of stuff we're doing, talking to have a lot of, you know, serious, intimate conversations, honest conversations, is to really get comfortable being uncomfortable. And it took me forever to learn that. You know, I faked it for a lot of my career. So like getting comfortable being uncomfortable and walking through that and trying to be yourself as you do it. You know, again, this is not reading, writing, and arithmetic, but if you want, like, you know, development counsel, I would offer that up.
I always, new leaders, new managers, I used to always tell them, you got to find your own voice. You can't be me, or you can't be somebody else. You got to be you. And I think that's definitely on track. Steve, what's a mistake you made at some point during your early career that you can talk about, and what did you learn from it?
I've made a million mistakes. You got to make mistakes. And, you know, back then I would probably try to cover it up. The key to a mistake is to own it, is to learn from it. And I've made a ton of mistakes with people, with strategy, with, you know, with, I mean, just I could go down the list, not doing your diligence, not getting, being too instinctual. I do pride myself on, really having a good intuitive sense of, a potential partner or situation or a strategy, but, balancing that intuitive gut with good counsel, good people around you, good diligence. But I could tell you, I can tell you I made a million mistakes, and, and anyone I know who's been successful has made a bunch of mistakes. And then, but if you don't learn from it, which I didn't for a long time, right? Because you got to have a good amount of self-awareness, then you don't develop and get better. And so, and, I did that for a while too. So learn as much as you can, own your mistakes, and move on and still have your own conviction of what you're doing and confidence, but humble confidence is I think has been, is a good thing to think about.
Yeah. Having grown up in Indianapolis, I've always been a huge Pacer fan. And someday it's going to be yours to run, hopefully. And what do you see? Is anything going to change in terms of the brand of the Pacers? Because it seems like it fits the city. It's a hardworking team. If I think back, some of my favorite, George McGinnis, Roger Brown, and then you can get into the mid-era like with Reggie, and now we have Vic. It's just, there's so many great players, and they do their job. They work.
Well, we didn't always have, we made, talk about mistakes. We could talk about them, but look, it's a family, it's a family, it's the family's, team. It's been, fun to represent the family and get involved. We never felt the need to talk about it, but I got involved, maybe in 1997, a couple years before we built, then Conseco Fieldhouse. And I just talked to Steve Hilbert the other day, who of course we made that first naming rights deal with. But so I've been involved a long time, and I've learned more and more that it is a community asset, and the brand, I've invested a lot of consumer brands, and I love brands. I love product. I love creative talent. I'm not one. I have my strengths, but I'm creative in a different way. But that brand is that pedigree, and that brand equity has been built through amazing stories, human lived, stories over a lot of years. And I just, Slick's still doing great. And I talked to him. So that brand is, and the emotive sort of connection it makes with fans, it's been a number of generations. Hopefully that continues, is not for one person to try to define, certainly an owner or, even a VP of digital marketing or a CMO or a creative director. That brand, it's been written, season after season by the players and their stories, and generally, and built by that city, the city of Indianapolis. It belongs there. It's going to be there. It's me and my father Herb's intent, and we have a long-term agreement we've made, which is important. So that's really our job, is to make sure it's vital and thrives and stays in the city of Indianapolis. We try to get, again, best people around us, best talent, strategy, and continue to use all the new opportunities to tell stories, create content, and let the emotive aspects of the brand and these players, we have multiple teams, but tell their stories and with their own conviction. And they're telling, deeper stories today, which is great given the fragility of the world and, systematic racism, lack of opportunity. And, thank God they have their voices, and we're following them to really make sure we make as much community impact and step up in every way, corporately and personally. But, the brand lives and breathes, and how that brand sits in the mind of the fan is based on a lot of factors that, we just try to be good stewards, create good culture, get the right people who represent us, which, we didn't always do that, right? In some eras, we, after the brawl, we wanted to win. We didn't get the best character, and we degraded that beloved equity and all those championships that Slick and Roger and Darnell, who's done an amazing job in the community and for the foundation for a long time. Those guys built it, and we've done a pretty good job, I think, of staying out of the way and getting good people around us and encouraging them, giving them confidence to make decisions and being there, as good owners who are involved but don't micromanage and allow people to, make good decisions and develop themselves and flourish.
That's awesome. I know you got a time constraint, Steve. Any last words for our undergrads as they're about ready to think about pursuing their career? Any advice for them?
Well, I mean, it's an obvious one, but and it took me a lot of years, but if you find something you're passionate about, which I didn't have a lot of direction for a long time, following the Grateful Dead, I didn't have and certain people need to do I've done a lot of different things, and I get to touch a lot of different things and being around a lot of different great talent and different businesses, which suits me and my ADHD and my generalist nature. But, you're lucky if you find something you really, want to live and breathe and can make a living in, and that's not always possible. Build relationships as carefully and with as much integrity as you can. I mean, it's, if I can think back on all the amazing relationships I built in the context of business and be really thoughtful, be good to your word, be interested in people genuinely, because you can learn so much. That's the curiosity. And treat your relationships and people you spend time with, because life is short, right? We all got kids and our community and all this stuff to do, and so you're going to be spending a lot of time working in a lot of situations. So, man, if you can find a company to work for that you trust the leadership, you trust the company, you trust the brand, you want to be around those people, and learn from those people and be part of that culture and contribute yourself to that culture, and work hard. I think, we've always worked pretty hard, but, good work ethic. Try to have a really good sense of humor. If you don't have one, develop one. We got to laugh more. And just like we like to, with all the brands I get to work with, you want to make an emotive connection, with the people you work with, man, bring humor and a reverence, and, build these connections, because the connections are the sustenance of life. That's where where my spiritual practice is to find connection with myself and other people, to be honest. So.
Got it. Well, thanks for being so thoughtful and reflective today, Steve. I really appreciate it, and for you spending the time with us. I know you had real tight timeline. But thanks again. I really appreciate you.
My
Thank
pleasure. And I hope Gamma and SAE in general, of course, and Gamma in particular thrive and continue to prosper. And you know, as developed a lot of great guys and a lot of great talent and a lot of great community citizens. And you know, SAE was very, very good to me, and I'm grateful for the experience.
Oh, thank you. See you, Steve. Thanks.
All right. Thanks so much, Steve. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Didn't I tell you this episode is jam-packed with great advice? I told you. I wouldn't have lied to you. I promise. This was a great episode with Stephen Simon. I love how honest Stephen is too. Sure, doing well academically is important, but I think that what Stephen is saying is there's way more to success than reading, writing, or arithmetic. As the episode name suggests, it's all about taking advantage of the opportunities afforded to you, being curious, learning about yourself, including your strengths and weaknesses, and developing and fostering relationships both personally and professionally. Again, my name is Cody Del Mendo. Thank you again for tuning in to today's show. If you're unfamiliar with who I am, that's because I am brand new. I just became the coordinator of communications for SAE recently. So I'm happy to be here, happy to bring you guys some more content down the road. And yeah, for more information, head on over to the SAE Foundation and their initiatives at SAE.net, and stay tuned this season for brand new episodes focusing on all things SAE and exciting interviews with notable alumni, like in our next one, Mark Malnati of Chicago's famous deep dish pizza chain, Lou Malnati's. I love Lou Malnati's. I cannot wait to hear this one. So you don't want to miss it. Everyone stay safe, and we'll see you next time.